He kōna ipurangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Want to know what's good to watch at the movies, or conversely, what you should avoid? Every Friday on Afternoons with me, Jesse Mulligan, our critic tells us what's hot and what's not in the world of cinema. Take a listen for the latest on new releases, behind-the-scenes dramas and scoops from directors with critic Dominic Corry. Dom Corry, hello.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Nice to see you. Anthony Bourdain. The movie. I just saw a kind of a poster or some marketing for this. The first I heard of it, but I guess it was always going to happen.
Yeah, it's called Tony. It opens here next week. And I often find with biopics of famous people, they just do a little greatest hits of the most famous things they did, and it rarely amounts to anything. This is a great sort of not version of that, in that it hones in on a specific period in his life when he was a young college student, and he spends a summer in Cape Cod working in a restaurant under a chef played by Antonio Banderas.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and you sort of half expect it's going to be like the Karate Kid with chopping onions. But it's not that.
Yeah.
It's more of a classic kind of coming of age story. He was always quite dismissive of his young self in his writings, and this film kind of leans into that. He's a bit of a pretentious, ambitious young man. When we first met, he's holding nunchucks when you first meet him, which is kind of weird. But Dominic Sessa plays him. He broke out a few years ago in a film called The Holdovers, and was in the Now You See Me 3.
Yeah,
and he's really well cast. The film it's set in Provincetown, which is a tourist town and historical part of Massachusetts in America. It was filmed there as well, and there's a great sort of seasonal holiday destination sense of, sort of melancholy there. And I really liked Tony. It's not, Kitchen Confidential, his first book, was sort of all about like, here's what really happens in a kitchen.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad they didn't make that film. There's surprisingly little...
Don't order the fish on Monday, sort of
that
thing.
kind of thing, yeah. And there's not much of that in this at all. In fact, there isn't much of food-specific stuff. There's a little bit in there.
More of a personal story.
Totally. It's a nice character study, and a nice place to be. It was directed by a really interesting Canadian filmmaker named Matt Johnson, who made the film about the Blackberry a few years ago, and recently had a huge, a niche cult hit with a film called Nirvana the Band, the Movie. Nirvana the Band, the Show, the Movie, which I believe is playing at the film festival. And yeah, Tony's great.
Fantastic. Dominic Corry on Movies Today. You've also been to see the end of Oak Street.
Yeah, this is a new dinosaur movie, unrelated to the Jurassic franchise, which is nice. They don't own dinosaurs. Very Spielbergian, Richard Matheson-ish quality to the story.
So some other studio said, all right, enough's enough. We've got to get in on this dinosaur suspense thing.
Yeah.
We can't let them have all the Jurassic Park movies and
there were
own the whole
dinosaur
property.
movies before Jurassic Park.
Were there? I mean, there's, King Kong, I suppose.
Yeah. Point being that it might even, I don't think it's the same studio. Anyway, it's Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor as a married couple with young kids in 1982 suburbia, and their little neighborhood gets transported back to Neolithic times, and there's dinosaurs stomping around, and it's just so much fun, this film.
Is it a little bit Jumanji?
A little bit. It's a bit gnarlier than that. In fact, I'd say it's probably a bit gnarlier than the Jurassic films in terms of the peril and the tension.
Yeah.
And it's a solid, it's 100 minutes long, which feels like a gift in itself. Do you remember when, in the sort of, before we were inundated with entertainment options, when you were a kid, I'm sure everyone around my age did this, you'd pull out the encyclopedia just to look up the gnarly pictures of dinosaurs fighting each other.
Yeah.
And
Unless there was an encyclopedia with naked people in it.
Right. Well,
We'd look at that for a little bit until we
Yes.
got bored. Like an anatomy page
Totally.
or something, yeah.
I never did that.
Okay, sorry.
No,
I may have said too much.
That I feel like there's a great bit in this film where the young boy character pulls out a textbook and is looking at the dinosaurs, trying to work out stuff, and it reminded me of doing that as a kid. And it's almost like bringing the drama and intensity of dinosaurness into suburbia. It's sort of like that's the point of the film, and it does it really well. It just plops a normal neighborhood situation in the middle of a big dinosaur peril action, and I was completely caught up by this and swept along by it, and swept up, caught along, and dragged up and pushed down, and
You were knocked down, but you got back up again.
Yeah, and it's directed by an interesting filmmaker who a few years ago made an indie horror called It Follows, and then followed it up with a film called Under the Silver Lake. Robert something Mitchell is his name, and it's interesting that he sort of hasn't done anything for ages, and he's back with this big budget studio popcorn. And again, I say this a lot, but it's just nice that it's not intellectual property. And it really hones in on a sense of Spielbergian domesticity and suburban kind of tranquility that gets invaded by extreme violence and monsters, and a lot of Richard Matheson in there. Richard Matheson was a sci-fi novelist who also wrote for The Twilight Zone and was heavily influential on Spielberg, and he was a great storyteller in terms of introducing fantastical elements into everyday situations, and this is a great example of that.
Why do you think they set it in 1982?
I think to sort of tap into the Amblin Spielberg quality of it all. There's the production design's really on point. And I guess stories like this are a bit easier to take seriously when the communications aren't as prevalent as they are today. But I strongly believe they're really trying to evoke all those Spielberg films of the 80s that he not only directed but also produced a bunch, and there was a consistent quality there that this lives up to.
Thank you, Dom Corry. That one is called, write it down, The End of Oak
It's in
Street.
theatres now.
Yeah, thank you. And The Ungrateful Tenant is another New Zealand movie. We've got a few out at the moment.
Yeah, I saw this at an Encore Film Festival screening. I believe the Wellington screening has happened, but there is the Christchurch Film Festival screening has yet to happen. This is a new low-budget New Zealand film that I was interested to see. It's black and white. It's a silent film, and it's the funniest New Zealand film ever made, bar none. I just couldn't believe how good this was.
So I misheard you then. I thought you said the funniest film ever made by a nun, but you said bar none.
No, I said by a nun.
Oh, you did say
No,
by
I
a
didn't
nun.
say by a nun. I said by a nun. Connor Bowden is a young film fan who wrote, directed, and stars in this, and it's about the nightmare of renting in Auckland, a very relatable horror.
Yeah.
And by committing to these very specific parameters of a silent film, black and white, it's in the Academy ratio, the square 1:33:1 aspect ratio. It just overcomes so many issues that hinder New Zealand films. I think I'm a bit more obsessed with cultural cringe than a lot of the youngs these days. But by not having anyone speak, it sort of avoids certain issues when it comes with how naturalistic our dialogue can sometimes feel. And
It's a dialogueless film?
well, it's a silent film, but it uses the convention of intertitles, where you see people's mouths moving and then it cuts to a flat thing that says what they're saying. But even that is an opportunity for humour.
Yeah.
And there's also some fun kind of on-screen graphics. But I sort of wasn't quite sure what to expect, but I don't think I stopped laughing for the entire film. And, silent films, black and white comedies, they have that slightly sped up quality.
Yeah.
And that sort of just adds to the physical comedy. Just scenes of him like trying to ingratiate himself in with his new flatmates, and there's three people, and he goes into the communal area and they're watching TV and they all laugh at something, and then it cuts to him and he laughs to join in, and then they all frown at him. It's just so good. And trying to sort of get rid of a nightmarish flatmate. There's a bit where a vengeful flatmate breaks into his new flat and leaves a bunch of dirty dishes in the sink just to mess with him. And it's kind of a true nightmare. And what this guy has achieved with clearly not a lot of money and just his pals is so inspirational and just makes me so excited to see what he does next. Congratulations to everyone. It has to get a theatrical release at some point, but it's currently screening at the film festival. Check it out if you can. I just haven't been this blown away by a New Zealand film in ages.
Great review. I see Annabelle Keane and Callum Devlin are producers. They're better known as Sports Team, I believe, and they came out with their own kind of low-budget horror.
They did the Weed Eaters
Weed Eaters,
last year. Yeah, and they show up in a really fun cameo as well.
Oh, good for them.
And it's great, that connection speaks to there being a young, sort of enthusiastic filmmaker community, and they're all helping each other out. And
doing things their own way.
Yeah, and also on paper, like a silent film, black and white, who's going to get excited about that? But as I said, by committing to it, it forces a level of inventiveness and ingenuity that actually makes the film so much better. So, yeah.
Great work. The Ungrateful, Tenant, Dom Corry on the movies. Good to see you.